Funny you say that you're in construction, because I actually attended the massive tradies protest on the Westgate Bridge in Melbourne in 2021, because I was living there during that time.
Wow.
I kind of hopped back and forth between Sydney and Melbourne depending on the lockdown. So
Yeah.
I got the bucket list opportunity of actually walking across the Westgate,
Yeah.
which not many people get to do. And that was really eye-opening, I think. I actually lost a very, very solid partnership with Facebook and Instagram from doing that as well. They caught on and I posted a story about it, and then, ever since then, they just stopped speaking to me. So that's interesting.
Was that the one after the CFMEU big protest?
Yes, that one. Correct.
I remember that at the time. You know what I can't find? So a friend of mine was doing the research for the Battleground Melbourne doco, and there was a moment in one of those press conferences, I can't find it, it's been like cleaned off the internet,
Right.
where Dan Andrews said something along the lines of, we've been speaking to big tech and going after the big sort of streamers and YouTubers that, but I could never find that, so it could go in the doco for Topher Field.
Really?
But they were definitely, and we know this from Mike Benz's work in America. He talks about USAID and how it's interfering in other countries' democracies via social media, via lawfare. But you'd be on the cutting edge of that. I mean, being, as I said, huge respect, one of the big pioneers in Australian YouTubing online, and being one of the first to actually make a career out of it. I mean, do you have like a direct contact with some of these companies, like a phone number or a direct email?
Yeah, so I was fortunate, man. As you said, I was one of the first to start in Australia. You could call me kind of era 2. Era 1, you could say, was sort of the Janoskians and Superwog and My Chonny.
Yeah.
And then I came out, you could say, 3-4 years after that. So
Right.
still very, very relatively new. I was fortunate to jump on YouTube where, there was only a handful of people. I was actually on Facebook just as they started allowing videos to be, put on the platform. I then was on Instagram before they even allowed videos, and much before TikTok. So fortunately for me, I was able to get direct contacts with these people. Funnily enough, when TikTok came to Australia, they hit up a bunch of already established influencers like myself. And they said, hey, we'd love you to jump over and post all your content on TikTok. It's going to be the next big thing. And what we'll do is we'll actually help you boost your content. So just for context, it took me, back then the numbers grew a lot quicker. So it took me about it took me about a year to hit 1 million followers on Facebook. And YouTube was a very slow burn. But TikTok, I hit 1 million followers in about 8 weeks. And I remember I was speaking to a guy, I won't mention his name or anything, but he actually had a button on his phone on this app where he could press it and make your video go viral. He actually showed me in real life. So
Whoa.
I do have direct connects with people, but don't ask me to loop you in because I'm not
Of
allowed to.
course.
I get a lot of people asking me, but
Yeah.
in hindsight, at the same time, I've also lost a fair few of those partnerships because of my belief systems which go against the narrative that the media want to portray. So it's kind of a catch-22. I find myself in this interesting middle ground where people know my beliefs. I'm obviously a Christian as well. My mum, Eve Zhu, is very vocal online. The same last name, you can kind of gather that she's my mum. She gets banned off Facebook every second week. But I think at the moment, I'm just towing this line where I'm getting a lot more edgier with my content, a lot more just vocal and just saying it how it is. And it's like both sides can kind of still relate to me. Obviously, the more conservatives really understand what I'm trying to do, but still, like, those people with the more leftist agendas are like, oh, I still like this guy, but like, what's he doing? Maybe he's neutral. I don't know.
Just
So
asking questions.
yeah, I still do have a Facebook relationship, interestingly enough, but Instagram sacked me hard straight away.
Yeah. So your mum's the Hungarian side and your dad's the Chinese side, right?
Correct. Yeah, my mum's got a page, a Telegram group called Action Australia with like a few hundred or thousand members.
Okay, right.
Yeah, dude, all she does
Yeah.
every single day is she goes, guess what? This person's reptilian. Donald Trump's, this and that. The quantum
Jihadis.
financial system's coming in, Jassara and Asara, all these things which, funnily enough, as I said before, I actually introduced her into this world, but I didn't even go as deep as she's gone.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, Mom, like, I believe in the Bible first and foremost. I'm like, does this correlate with end-time prophecy? I'm not too sure, but I love how optimistic she is, and this is kind of like a new thing that she has moving forward as a passion and a means to essentially save the world. So I'm all for it.
Well, I've been scratching my head. We started talking about your mum, and I've been scratching my head about why my demographics were like that. And then I realized, well, Joel, you were born out of the pandemic. And if there's one thing I know about health, women tend to pay more attention to it and
Massively.
be the nurturers for their husbands and kids, grandkids. And also there's so little strength left in men nowadays in the Five Eyes white sort of
Yes.
Western countries that the strength's really coming from the women now.
It is, yeah.
Especially with the jabs, with kids, with health, with grandkids. And I was like, that's why the young women not really having kids. They haven't quite come into that feminine lioness, protect the child stuff.
Yep.
But the older women, they're like, no, hang on, I have a child.
I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see that in your mum?
Yeah, of course. My mum's like, literally, I feel like I always say this, my mum was born to be a mother in the traditional sense. And she raised me as a single parent. My dad actually moved to China when they got divorced when I was 4 years old. But what I see with, I guess, people that are my mum's age, which is kind of like, you know, mid to late 60s, even younger or slightly older, is that, yeah, you're right. When they were growing up, they still had that family union and dynamic that was at the forefront of society, and the media wasn't necessarily trying to tarnish them. I understand the sexual revolution came out as well during their upbringing in some way, shape or form. But I feel like, yeah, they're just seeing the hypocrisy of the media. They're understanding how when a society tries to firstly, deconstruct the family unit, but also turn their back towards God, it just creates chaos. And she just knows true-heartedly that it's just not the right way to live.
It's really encouraging. Having watched your interview, and I don't want to deeply cover entirely what you did with Charlie Barkos, just because I think that was a great piece of content and people should go and see that.
Yep.
But your journey from having it all, I mean, going right from pretty much high school, getting viral. I mean, every kid's dream, getting viral, getting a bunch of money, girls, sponsorships, being recognized wherever you go. I mean, what more could you want as a young man, perceivably from the world? And then sort of working out, hey, I found my way to the bottom. There's actually more to life, having the spiritual encounter. And I'm perfectly comfortable talking about with all the demonic stuff that you talked about with Charlie. I thought that was an amazing thing that's not talked about enough.
Yeah.